Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas. And today we have another session. Today we will be playing the 8th episode of Series 2 of Twilight 2000. So, welcome back to my subscribers. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider it. Welcome back to the members. It's the members growing. Thank you very much. Your support is incredibly appreciated. Thank you. Any support that you can give is very much appreciated by any of you watching. There's coffee thank yous. There's the super thanks, which a few people have given. Thank you very much. I mean, it was a while ago, but I do these videos ahead of time. Old Desert Gal, thank you very much for your support. I'll mention it in a few other videos this week as well, I think, whilst recording. Thank you very much for your support. There was the anonymous donator, who you know who you are, who donated Blade Runner. I am looking forward to playing that as soon as the Replicant Revolution releases on PDF. The Kickstart for the solo guide, I will be printing that out and using that with Blade Runner, and we will be playing Blade Runner before. I won't use the Replicant Revolution until I get the actual physical book for that, but the solo guide for how to play Blade Runner, I think that would be quite fun to try that out. And any other support you could give would be absolutely awesome, very much welcome. Thank you very much. And on with the game, as I've taken up enough of your time. So we left the last game. It was quite a quite exciting thing. So we had some scouts. Now I was wondering if I wrote some notes. If the sniper team that went after Staff and Jack as they were leaving the area, if that is the same sniper team as is the scouts, possibly this is the same team. These scouts are that sniper team that went after, that took a pot shot at Staff and Jack, and that's why they then found, because they backtracked where the Jeep had come from and found them here. So I think that the sniper team that went after Staff and Jack is the scout team from Captain Jacob. So the scout team from Captain Jacob, they were spotted. Now, Jane did attempt to take a pot shot at them. Well, pot shot, it's Jane, so probably a crack shot, and we'll take one of them and kill one of them. Now, the original sniper team that went after Staff and Jack, there was 2 of those. Now, this sniper team, we said there was 3 scouts in this team. So maybe there was the 2 sniper, the sniper and their spotter, are the ones that went after Jack, and there was somebody else who was doing a bit of a scout around who wasn't there at the time. You know, fix it up. But at the moment there are 3, so we can definitely say that one of them has an SVD because they are the sniper of the team. But as we all know from watching, either because you've served or by watching YouTube videos, the main job of a sniper team is actually information gathering, not necessarily killing people, but going behind enemy lines, gathering information and finding out information to then feed back. So that's clearly what this scout team was doing. And then they identified where the people Captain Jacob is annoyed about, where they are. So Jane was about to take a shot. So I've got notes to say that Jane's about to take a shot, and then we need to check to see if Toby and Jacob are asleep. That's up at Rocklaw. Then if we switch back down to where the Marauder camp is, where we left those was we left the 2 captives who I decided to create using, and I'll do this on the channel at some point because we didn't do this before, using the terms, let me just find the exact name that they call it, the character generation life paths method. So you start off as a base person at 18, and then you pick a career and then you move through. So I created our 2 captives. Maria, who is Polish, has a background as, so you start off as a child, you decide where you're being. So she started off as intellectual child, going off to school, studied the sciences, and then became a manager in a chemical factory specialised in producing fuel. And so she She could roll musician as a child. Got chemist, logistician. I can't say it, but basically logistics. So that's setting up bases and various things. So if they set up a base, she's got good skills for that. And frontline leader, which means that you can overcome stress. So she's spec'd out as a manager. So she's a managerial position, but in a chemical research factory specialising in fuel. So chemist would mean that she would be able to help them do fuel. It rolled that way, and it just came out that way. She's very good at intelligence and empathy, A's and A's. Got good tech, good command, good persuasion. As your final role in life paths, you say they've gone to war, and so she did get some very low range combat and very low mobility. The other one is Anna, who's Italian, and if anyone has done Duolingo and tried to learn Italian, you'll know that Anna is a common name. Anna comes from a small town where she was a farmer in Italy, then became the mechanic on the farm, and then started driving and got a job in Poland as a driver, and then was recruited during the last few months of the war. And so Anna has basic farming skills, basic hunting skills. These are specializations. Mechanic, racer, and runner developed from during the wartime. So Anna has a much more widespread skills, but they're mainly in driving and technical skills, so fixing a car. So those are the two. So it was quite brief as a distraction. So basically, we left Jack, Anna, and Maria we left staff Jack, Anna, and Maria trying to carry Jack, who's still unconscious from having a ruptured kidney, which staff did his best to patch up, but has not been doing very good rolls, and trying to move Jack to the Jeep and then get Jack back. So actually I've just thought this very second, that's the least sensible way to do it. It's far more sensible to go get the Jeep and then bring the Jeep here. And hopefully I will give them one of them an intelligence roll. Maybe Maria, who is very intelligent, might suggest that. We'll do that this session. But otherwise, moving Jack is going to make Jack is going to have to make a stamina roll each time they move Jack. Otherwise, he will begin to bleed again. Now, I don't know if normally you would do that with critical injuries, but staff has no medical training, and so I would not be confident that what staff did has properly stabilised Jack. And so they're going to have to try and get Jack back, but they are unaware of what's going on up there. I think I got a bit distracted just then, but anyway, that's a recap. That's a brief recap. So where we are is we'll switch back first. We'll primarily look at Jane about to take, so we'll focus back, beginning of episode. We will focus on Jane, who we left, credits rolling and the gunshot. So we will catch up with Jane, who is eye-to-scope of a hunting rifle, and she's going to take a shot at these scouts as they're attempting to leg it, and hopefully that will then raise Toby and Jacob, who will then help pursue these scouts, who I very much doubt they're going to be able to catch them. Anyway, so Jane's going to take a shot at these people. She's standing. She is a lower elevation, but she's a good shot. So she instantly starts with, let's start with the day. So we've got this bit, but first off, we've got the day, which is good weather. So it's sunny, so she's not going to have a negative due to that. Jane starts with a D12 for agility, and she's got a D10 for range combat. She is a sniper, which gives her D12, D12. It's a long arm. We can say that she would use her fast action to aim, but so she doesn't get the -2 for not using the fast action to aim, but she didn't have a chance to do a slow action. That we will say that they are medium range, because I think the range of a hunting rifle is 10, which would give them 20 squares away, which is most of one of those maps. So that's a -1. It's a moving target because they're trying to go and they are aware. And I'm going to give it a -2 for the terrain that she's firing into, because they would be under some form of cover. Otherwise, you know, they're not going to be out in the open, because we've got target hex terrain -1 or -2, so -2. So that gives her a D8 D8 hunting rifle, 1 shot, D8 D8. 1 hit. She could push it and try and get another hit, because push it and get another hit, and she could have killed one of them, which would be very classic Jane. So Jane is going to push it. She's taken damage. This is a physical skill she's pushing, so she would take more damage. She's got 3 damage already on. Yes, outstanding. Okay, so Jane shoots this dude, which would be a 3 +1 for that, which is a 4, a crit of 4, which kills them in the head. Okay, this is Jane. This is Jane. All right, so we see the sniper rifle come. Which of the 3 is it? Okay, we'll go 1, 2. It's the sniper SVD. 3, 4. It's the spotter. 5, 6. It's the scout, which has just come with them. 1, 2. It's the sniper. The sniper. So Jane has shot the sniper. So we see the shot. So the sniper, who's the last to get up, who looks like the sniper was about to take a shot, Jane clips him in the head. He goes down. The other 2 are then panicked and they grab their stuff. They don't grab like a third of the gear, most stuff. They're just going to grab weapons and basics. So there's going to be stuff left behind, possibly a radio, and they are going to go. They're going to leg it. So Jane, what can Jane do? Jane can't run after them. Jane cannot run anymore. So just remind anyone who this is the first time you've seen these, which would be weird if you start watching today. Welcome, but there's a lot to catch up on. There's a whole series to catch up on of 20. I think it was 20 episodes we did. Anyway, Jane got attacked by dogs. She got critically injured. It rolled a 10 on the leg critical injury, which is a severed leg. Now, what severed leg means is Jane cannot run. The dog severed the muscles in her upper thigh, which means that her thigh is basically, her right leg, I think it's right leg, in my head it's always right leg, is basically useless. It's either in the lower part or the upper part, I can't remember which bit it was, but her leg is useless and it is in a Mad Max metal brace, which means she can move around with difficulty. She has -2 mobility, but she can't run. It's basically, she cannot run, she can only hobble. Have I written -2 mobility against this? No, to remind myself. So she's got a mobility of C, but -2 will always come off of everything when she's running around. So she can't run anyway. She can only move at a hobble. So she can't go after them, but Toby and Jacob might do. So let's roll for Toby and Jacob to see if the shot sort of raises them. They come. So we'll do that as recon. We'll make them both make a recon to see if they get shocked or they come running. Toby is D10 D10. Toby comes running. Jacob is D8 D8. No, Jacob is a bit stunned and doesn't know what's going on. Toby comes running. Let's make Toby make a command roll, which would be a D8 and nothing but command to shout at Jacob to come. No. Toby doesn't think of bossing any around. Toby's basically just a specialist mechanic, just focuses on keeping the Bradley going. But Toby will grab his M16 and come running over to Jane. So Toby will come running over to Jane. So we're going to have for the day shift, Toby is going to do an explore, or Toby's going to do, what would that be? That would be a march, because Toby's going to try chasing after these. Toby's not going to want to go chasing after these scouts, so Jane is going to have to shout at Toby to go chasing after the scouts. Jane will also do a march, but she's going to go slower, so she's not going to be able to chase them. The scouts are going to run. She will just go up to where the OP was, the observation post was, and we will then have Jacob's going to go as well, but Jacob is going to have to make a mobility roll to catch up with Toby, otherwise Toby's on his own. So that's what's going on down here. Staff is walking over to the Jeep. We're just doing the day shift, unless Maria, who is Maria is Polish. Maria speaks English and Polish. Anna, of course, Duolingo, is Italian. Anna speaks Italian and Polish and very little English. I thought that was what I remembered from the roles. Well, I've got moral codes for them and other stuff, but they'll come out later. So Maria is going to see if she can persuade or command. Maria's going to make an intelligence, which is a D12, and we'll say it's a survival roll or recon, but she hasn't got skills in either anyway, which is a D12, and that's it. So if she gets a hit, she'll then attempt to convince staff maybe it's better someone goes to get the Jeep and then bring it here. Yes. Okay. So Maria, in a very bold Polish accent, I can't do the accent, is going to attempt to convince, but she has good English, is going to attempt to convince staff, D12, D8, or she's got command, maybe she'll use command, it's the same either way, D8, that taking Jack will risk Jack's life, and he can trust them to look after Jack if he wants to go get the Jeep. Okay, that works. Now, staff might not want to leave Jack with them, or staff might not care. So I'm going to give Jack staff a D8, D12, and then we'll see if staff is going to say, no, we're taking him. No, staff's fine with that. Staff goes, all right, if you'll look after him, maybe he'll take one of them. No, he'll travel on his own, won't he? He's not going to want to take one of them anyway. He'll leave them here. And then, so staff is going to go off. Staff will march across by himself to attempt to get them, and the captives will wait here, which means we'll have 3 encounters. We'll have 1 for the captives and Jack, 1 for staff, and then we'll see about Toby and Jacob and Jane. So first off, we'll focus on Toby, Jacob and Jane for a bit. So we will have them, because they might get into a gunfight with the scouts, depending on how we go chasing. So they were up here. I would reckon, can you see that? Yeah. They're up here. I would reckon they're going to start heading this way. So the first thing that we will have the scouts are going to attempt to do is they're going to roll mobility to see, let's see, is it, no, you can do 1, it's 1 hex per shift. Let me double check this. I'll say it first and I'll double check to tell you if you're right. It's 1 hex per shift. You can do 2 shifts a day without any struggle, and you can march additional shifts by making stamina rolls. So what it is by road or open terrain, you can do 2 hexes. If it's any other type of terrain, you can only do 1 hex. This is open terrain. This is open terrain. So they can move. They're going to attempt to move from this hex into this hex here. So this is, so they're going to go 1 hex, 2 hexes. This is the scouts who have the, they're ahead. Now we've got Jacob, we've got Toby, who is chasing after them. So Toby's going to attempt to go the same thing. So we're going to have the scout team having to roll a recon to try and stay hidden, and then they've got a mobility to stay ahead, and then we will have Toby will do a recon to track them, and then a mobility to keep up with them. If Toby keeps up with them and passes the recon, Toby can engage them, and then we will have Jacob, who is going to be able to easily spot Toby, so doesn't need to make the recon, but needs to make 2 mobility rolls. One to keep up, one is like sprinting to catch up with Toby, and the other is then Toby's normal to keep up with Toby and the chase. So first off, we will have the scout team. The scout team is 2 soldiers, 2 Soviet soldiers who are part of Captain Jacob's team. They are first off going to need to make a recon roll to try and dodge where they're going. So a recon roll is intelligence, which is a C, and recon, which is a C. So it's a D8, D8. They make 1 hit. They have 1 hit, so they're trying to stay down on to ground. They're staying off of ridge lines. They're trying to keep into the grass line. They're trying to stay low as they move into that forest, and they're trying to get into the forest. Next, they have mobility. Now, the Soviet soldiers do not have a good mobility. They have a D10 for their agility, but they do not have mobility as a skill. They get no hits. So they're moving quite slowly. So all Toby needs is a hit, and he has caught up with them. So first off, Toby needs to try and beat their recon by basically, Toby's trying to track them. They've definitely got a head start. So Toby has headed up to the ridge line, and he's legging it as they're legging it, but they had to pack up their stuff and split. And he's trying to track them as he goes. I think that's recon to track them. Toby actually has a D10, D10 for recon. Is that tracking recon? So the only sort of tracking it mentions is for hunting. And I think tracking for hunting is a survival role, because you're not just tracking people by looking for tracks or like noises or trying to spot them. You're trying to look for spores and for signs that the animal has been in the area. So I'm going to give this as a recon, opposed recon. 1 hit. So 1 hit, which means I'm happy to say that Toby is spotted where they've gone, because I think we said this last time, seeing in favour of the PCs, they've gone. Now, though he can find where they are, can he keep up with them? So his mobility isn't good at all. He only has a D10 for mobility. He doesn't have mobility either, and he will push this if he needs to. He got 1 hit. Okay, that's cool. So he's keeping up with them. So he's not caught up with them, but he's keeping up with them. So Toby can see them enough that he can do a medium range engage with these 2 fellas. Now, we've now got, can Jacob keep up? Now, Jacob is trying to sprint after them. Will he have his, if he's got his PKM, I don't know whether that would actually like hinder his mobility. So Jacob needs to make 2 mobility rolls. He's got a D10 for agility to keep up, and I'm not needing him to make, so he needs to first make a mobility roll to basically catch up with Jacob, who's running anyway. So he's only got a D10 for mobility. It's a hit, that'll do. Can you get 2 hits on this? You can by rolling a 10. So he gets 1 hit. So he catches up with Jacob, but now can he keep up as Jacob's sprinting? No, he can't. Okay. So Jacob is left behind. Toby's ahead. So if we'll do a little skirmish between these people at medium range, they're going to keep trying to go. We'll give them 2 exchanges of fire. If anyone gets hit, then they're going to put their head down, which means then the other one is going to take advantage of that to split. So we will quickly crack out the initiative cards. Because, although, no, I reckon Toby's going to get shot, isn't he? Toby will go first, because they're running. Toby will open fire at medium range. Now, Toby's not a good shot at all. Toby has very poor, he's going to just, he'll do, someone called me out. Someone called me out on doing from earlier, series 1. So he'll do, because he'll do short bursts, so he doesn't burn through his rounds. And he is he's at medium range, which is a -1. They're keeping to terrain, but we'll give him a -1 because of terrain. And would he have time to aim? Probably not. which would put it down to, oh no, he's going to stop and aim, which is why it's at medium range. So he stops and aims, which is why it's a medium range, but he doesn't get, so it means he gets a fast aim, which means they could just keep running. So he's going to take a pot shot at these scouts. He gets a hit. He gets a hit and 2 extras. All right. Wow. Okay, so he hits one of them. He hits both. So this could be used for hitting both of them. He hits both of them, and one of them is potentially taking an extra round. So that could go to that one. So one of them takes an extra round. He's got his M16, which is potentially a crit depending on where he hits them. So one gets hit with a crit. One gets hit with a crit in the legs, he goes down. The other one gets hit in the arms, he's still all right. So this one gets hit in the legs with a crit because we've got 2 plus 1, which makes it a 3. In the legs means he goes down. This one gets clipped. Now, what is he going to do? He will return fire because he is... No, this is his return. No, this is the C6. So he goes down this round. So he doesn't return fire because he has to make. He makes a coolness under fire roll. That's what he does. He'll make a coolness under fire. Also because his buddy's gone down. So he, which is a C, failing. So he goes down. So this round he goes down. So Toby then gets to close the distance to short range. He has run, which means he's no. That's 2. So he's only on a D6. He will then fire again at the guy who's gone down. He has to do another coolness under fire, but there's no hit. He's also keeping his head down, so Toby is within short range, and we can say that this is where Jacob catches up. So how many rounds was that? Let's do that again. So there was 2 of them, so 6, 12, so 14. And that was not, so we want something that wasn't, so it's 14, that's 20, 22, so he still has enough again. So Toby will try and shoot again. Toby has stayed in the position, so they've come up, there's like, you can imagine the scrub line, they've just about got to that tree line, they're just about to go into the trees. One guy's gone down by being shot in the legs, he's gone down. The other one is now panicking. And has attempted to return fire and can't. He's trying to get his head down below some rocks as Toby is just firing on the position where he is. It's quite a distance away from each other. They're both at long range. Toby is now going to try shooting again into that general direction. Missing totally, which means that this dude doesn't have to make a CUF, coolness under fire roll for this one. Now Toby is out of rounds. With 3 bursts. What would the dude do? I think the dude is going to run. So the dude is going to attempt to make a mobility roll, and if he does, he's legging it. I mean, it's not bad. If he gets back, he's injured, he might bleed to death. They might be able to track him. Mobility would be a D10. He's going to try and run. No. He doesn't, so he tries, so he runs and just does a standard movement run, which makes it harder for Toby to hit him. Jacob has now caught up. Toby will pursue. He's gone into the trees now. Now they're chasing each other. So we've gone through farmland up into the edges of a forest, and then that's where Toby would have, before they went into the forest, Toby then takes the shots. One guy goes down. The other one who's hiding behind a tree is then going to take advantage of Toby maybe firing on the wrong position, losing track of where the dude is and firing into the wrong position. He's then going to try and run deeper into the trees instead of basically try and get away, run deeper into the trees because he's already got these arms bleeding as he's trying to run deeper into the trees. So we're then back with Jacob has caught up with Toby, who's been stationary for 2 turns. Just so Jacob is breathing deeply and sort of like, what's going on? Toby will say, if they've gone into the trees, we've got to catch them because we don't know who they are. And they will both then try and leg it to the trees. They need to make a mobility roll each to get to the trees, and then we'll have a chase in the trees, which will be difficult. And so we'll have Jacob has no mobility, D10. No, Jacob will push. No. Okay, so Jacob's out of breath trying to get to the tree line. Then we've got Toby, who's also D10. Toby gets to the tree. So Toby leaves Jacob behind and gets to the tree line as a run. So that's his fast action. Is that right? Yes, run is a fast action. So Toby will run to the trees. So he got an extra one. So he moves 1 square, which is the normal thing. And then he would move... Oh no, that's just 1 hex. That's not really close the distance, because we're saying it's a medium range, which would be... What is the medium range on this? 5 hexes. So he's closed the distance. We'll say he's closed the distance to the tree. No, he wouldn't have closed the distance. So he's running up to the trees, and the other guy is running in the trees. So then we've got him needing to run up to the tree. No, he'll push. Yes. Okay, so we'll say Toby's got to the trees. Jacob can't push that, because if he does, he can't push that anyway. So Jacob is still puffing behind. The dude is in the trees and he's running through. The dude needs to make a recon roll, which he does have, and if he can succeed at this, so then Toby's going to try and spot him in the trees. So he's got D8, D8, which I think is the same as what Toby has. Recon, no, Toby's D10, D6. So this is the guy trying to hide in the trees. No, he can't hide in the trees. Can Toby spot him? Toby just needs a hit and he spots him. Toby can see exactly where this dude is. The dude's trying to hide pitifully in the trees and trying to move as swiftly as he can, but Toby can see him. We'll say in that 2 runs up, Toby has reloaded the M16. And then Toby will stop on the beginning of his turn, brace himself against a tree and attempt to take a shot at this dude. Toby is going to still do controlled, so as he can get more shots off before reloading. He's got D10, D10. He's doing, he's pausing, so he takes normal aim. He's closed the distance, so they're only at short range. Because the guy was running in trees and he made 2 rolls, and so we'll give him, we'll still reduce it down to a D10, D8. Toby hits this dude, doing, so he's already taken 2 damage. Toby does 4 points of damage against this dude. So Captain Jacob, it doesn't seem like, in the torso. So that would be taking 1 point off of the flak vest. Still 3 points goes through on the torso. And this scout goes down in the trees. And Toby will then move up with Jacob. And so we've seen that bit as they're running. So oh, I even painted up the tank. He will come and get him at some point. He'll come and get him at some point. All right. Do they have a radio? Here we go. If they have a radio, then they would have radioed in that they have identified where these people are. Captain Jacob will possibly know where they are, will possibly set a clock running. Do they? So red is good, which means they didn't have a radio. Black is bad, they do have a radio. Red is good, they don't have a radio. Actually, that's very good. It's a bit boring though, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. I could say we could do a poll and find out, but I record these ahead of time, like I said earlier, so we're not really going to find out. All right. Okay, I'm going to ignore that and just say yes, they have a radio. Yes, they have a radio. They do have a radio. Now the next one is, so they definitely have a radio. The next one is, did they radio Captain Jacob? Now, I mean, it would mean that we will have a tank battle, but I mean, it could kill a lot of people. But I've been a very lenient DM so far. All right, did they radio? So red is they didn't radio Captain Jacob. Black is they did. Black ace is the most deadly that it can be. So not only did they radio Captain Jacob, they said where the position was and they gave the grid reference, and it was Captain Jacob that said, set up an observation post, watch them and give me more information about what's going on. And they didn't have a chance to do that. So Captain Jacob knows. So we need a clock. Okay, so that's resolved. Though they didn't get to go back, enough information got sent through, so we will, because time's ticking on, so we want to check the radio functionality, check the equipment, and set up clock next session. Next, we have, so this is for the day shift. This is Toby and Jacob are here. We still have, oh, the Jeep's there. Hold on, we'll put Jane is here. They're all getting spread out. Jane's still here. So Jane would have gone up and Jane's checking the stuff. We'll do that next session. We have the Jeep's here, Staff is here. Staff is going to have to move over there. So Staff walks over to, Staff is going to march over, get the Jeep, bring the Jeep back. Let's see if something happens to Staff, and then we'll have the evening where we will then have what happens next. Staff. So Scouts are dealt with. Staff is, first off, we've got a recon roll for Staff. Good, it's all good. So Staff has got D12, D12. He's only moving, how many squares is he moving? He's only moving 1 square, so he doesn't have to make a mobility roll. He can do that easy. Staff has no hits. Okay. No hits. Staff is going to try, so that is for Staff to spot stuff. Staff is going to try and move stealthily. He is moving stealthily though. He gets 3 hits for stealth. So maybe he's moving so stealthily that he's not noticing stuff. So he will bump into something, but hopefully they won't see him. They need to roll to see him, but he hasn't seen them. So there's a bit of a, he's moving really stealthily. So what does Staff encounter? He is on the road. It is daytime. We have Join Us or Die. Marauders with AKMs and so sorry, that's a 9 of hearts. AKMs in a pickup truck, half tank with a pintle, 1 reload. They are not overly hostile. Instead, they ask questions about the PC's gear and then offer the PCs to join their group. If they decline, the Marauders will threaten them and might even attack them rather than let them leave. So this is near the road. Okay, so this is, all right, so they would have avoided it by coming around this way, but because of the way Staff has moved from where the camp is up and around, he's noticed that there's a roadblock on the road here. So there's going to be, we'll say here, there's a roadblock. It's been set up, so because of those 3, we can say that possibly they would notice Staff. They are going to be Marauders. Marauders have a recon of D8, D6. They cannot roll 3 hits with a D8, D6. No. So Staff sneaks up, observes them with his 3 hits, and he's able to then get to the Jeep without major problems. But we now know that there are Marauders with a heavy weapon and some AKMs at that point on that map. There are Marauders. So basically there's a permanent roadblock set up there. If we try and go anywhere around the area, there's a roadblock. They might, I wonder if they knew the scout, like that Marauder base, or whether they're completely oblivious of each other and they would have ended up going to war with each other. Right, finally, we have Jane, who would have gone up and spotted and gone up to that position, and after she checked out the position, which we'll do at the beginning of the next turn, next game, she would come back down, and then she would be waiting for them to come back, but they're not going to be coming back until this evening. So Jane is going to have to keep watch again to make sure, just in case anyone comes up and bothers them. And there might be a probability. No, there might be a probability, or we'll do a normal encounter for Jane if she doesn't do it. So she's got a D8, D8. Maybe there'd be binoculars. Are there binoculars there? Because she could do with those. As she gets 1 hit, let's pick an encounter for Jane. See if Jane might be able to deal with it. Maybe there's some hunters come up. That one with the hunters. Jane hasn't killed anyone for 5 minutes. We've got Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades. Mad King. All right, we'll ignore that one. I mean, it could be a patrol for the Mad King, but we'll ignore that one. Mad King. All right, so we only covered one shift for that, but there was a lot going on. Oh, well, let's do one for the encounter. Let's do one for our captives. Our captives who are looking after Jack. All right, so they decided not to move Jack to try and make sure that Jack isn't injured. But we've got the two captives, Maria and Anna. They're not captives anymore, though, are they? Civilians. We'll start calling them civilians because they're not captives anymore. They're just civilians. We have the two civilians, Anna and Maria, who are looking after Jack. So they will be keeping watch. They would have grabbed some weapons. They both have very basic range combat skills. Neither of them have recon, though Maria is slightly better. So Maria, it will roll a d12 for recon. That gets a hit. Not bad, Maria. And then we'll see if any encounter comes across the Marauder base. Basically, there was a lot of shooting this morning. Someone might come looking. Oh, and someone came overnight, didn't they? And they stole the. Maybe they'll come back. Who knows? Wow. All right. Okay. We have a pack of wolves. This is the three of clubs. Three of clubs. A pack of wolves begins tracking the PCs, howling in the distance, and attacks when the PCs are resting. They will attack an isolated PC if they can, preferably at night. If killed, each wolf will yield meat enough for D6 rations of food. Alright. Why don't we? Alright, so we've got Maria. So there's the smell of death. There's Maria and Anna, two civilians that we're going to give. So Anna has actual hunting. So Anna might be able to hit. So Anna would hear the wolves. Anna can make a survival roll, D10, D6, to see if Anna thinks, hold on, we might have wolves. If they do, then they're going to be aware. A hit. Okay. So Anna has spotted that there's some wolves howling nearby that may have been drawn to the smell. So Anna will be saying to Maria in Polish, I think we should have gone with that bloke. I think staying here was a bad idea. It sounds like there's some wolves, so we'll have two wolves. Two wolves are going to come up to the camp. They have a recon of A, agility of B, so they have a D10, D12. So can they sneak up? No, they can't. That's really bad. So I'm going to say that Maria, Anna will keep her eye out, tell Maria, and these dogs are going to be creeping up to the camp. Though it is daytime, they're going to creep up to the camp. Maria will have an M16. Anna is going to have an M16. They are going to attempt to shoot. If they get even a vague cloak, if they get a hit or anything that would make them do a cornice under fire, these wolves, the wolves are going to leg it, because wolves are quite timid and nervous, but these ones are hungry. So Maria will see these wolves coming up. No, Anna will see the wolves coming up. Anna has hunting. She's got +1 for survival for hunting because she's a hunter. So which basically means that she can find food. She's got a D10 for her agility. Her range combat is a D, which is a D6. She's got the M16. She doesn't really know how to use. Well, she would have been trained to use an M16 or probably an AK or an AKM. So, but we'll give her the same stats to the M16 because I've got it here. So under Toby's sheet, she will roll D10, D6. I'm going to drop the D10 to a D8 because we'll say she's been surprised. She gets a hit. Okay, she gets a hit. That's good enough. She hits one of the wolves. The wolf yelps. The other wolf legs it. This wolf legs it, and we would say that they've done better than our teams normally do, who get decimated by four-legged creatures. And the wolves run off, and we have Anna and Maria, the civilians, defend Jack against being attacked by wolves. And we will end that one at that. We will next session we'll have staff will bring the Jeep back. We will see what they found there, and we will have during that evening shift everyone coming back down, and hopefully everyone recombining at the end of the 14th, and then we'll see what we do next. We'll find out what Anna and Maria want to do. We'll find out about that special operations Soviet troop who is at Rocklaw. We'll find out about the one survivor of the Marauders and what Anna and Maria will do when they see them. I don't know whether Anna and Maria are the survivors or the person who died are the people who come from Rocklaw. We need to find that out and bring everyone back together, and then go back and tell the people that we got rid of the deserters and try and get our fuel and head back west, because we've been held up for the last few days and not being able to move west. And that's where we'll end. Thank you very much for being a subscriber. If you're a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much to the members. Thank you very much to you all. And we will continue, and hopefully we'll set up a clock and Captain Jacob can hit it at some point, and we can have a nice big battle and try and orchestrate it, that there's loads of people involved. Bye-bye.